Yes, guys, I hope we're all doing well. Good evening to you all on this lovely, quiet Sunday evening. I want to talk to you guys today about my journey with getting into shape, or at least trying to get into shape. It started when I was about 15, 16 years old. And I thought I was the most enthusiastic person I knew about training. In fact, I was. I can even say that now. Looking back, I was an absolute anorak. I was obsessed. I was the guy who was training too much, 6 days a week, if not 7 days a week. I was buying Flex magazine and the Muscle mags and all these different mags and just reading up on bodybuilding.com every single day. Got out of school, straight onto bodybuilding.com, buying every supplement that I could, BSN, Maxi Muscle, all these different over-the-shelf products that I was obsessed with, finding the secret of how to get into wham shape like these guys that I was seeing in the Flex magazines. Anyway, what I couldn't figure out was how people around me in the gym, other young guys, arguably some of these guys were a little bit older, guys in their late teens and early 20s, how guys that had day jobs, some of these guys had families, they were football players, doing other things, and they just looked better. They had much better physiques. They were more muscular, And I just couldn't figure it out. I was the guy power bulking. I was putting in so much energy into my bulk. I was eating around the clock. I was training hard. I was trying to progress my lifts. I was trying to get strong. I was doing the big lifts, doing everything that the magazines and that were telling me. I was even setting alarms. I remember this. This was hilarious. I was even setting alarms at night to go downstairs and neck a protein shake. I was that level of committed. I remember just trying to smash down as much protein as possible, always ordering the biggest foods in the menu whenever we went out for dinners, always having second helpings. I was the guy that was just power eating and trying to train hard. And whenever I did this, I just got fat. I got to a point where I was like, holy shit, I'm just fat. That was a breaking point for me, actually. I remember where I was bulking and trying to gain muscle. I wanted to be a muscular dude, right? And I was on a toilet and I was sat like this, as you do on the loo. Okay, it's a bit graphic. But I looked down at my tummy and I literally grabbed it, and I grabbed like a loaf of bread's worth. Imagine a whole loaf of bread. I grabbed a whole loaf of bread of fat, and I was like, this ain't it. This ain't it. So I did a cut. I remember doing my first cut and I just got skinny. I could not understand it. I finished my cut. I dropped about 25 kilos of weight. It goes to show how much fat I'd gained. And I ended up my cut just skinny. I lost all my strength. I wasn't filling out my clothes. All my clothes were loose. I had noodle arms hanging out on my sleeves. And I thought, am I even any further along than when I started this journey? And this cycle repeated itself. It just kept repeating itself. And I would bulk up and I would get, pretty strong and look in the mirror, and then I reached that point of, okay, I've got to cut now because I'm just carrying way too much body fat. And this process of back and forth, trying to gain muscle, getting stronger, but not looking any better for it, decide I need to cut because the anxiety and stress and kind of everything attached to it. I didn't like my body. I didn't like my reflection in the mirror. I didn't like the way my clothes fit. I'd then start a cut and the cycle would repeat. I'd bulk and I'd get too fat. I'd cut and I'd get too skinny. All the while, I'm looking around at these guys who they train as a part-time effort, It's something that they just do for a bit of fun and maybe 3 or 4 times a week among all their other interests. And they're looking phenomenal. They're lean, muscular, pretty damn strong as well. It really bothered me. And so it got to a point where I was so frustrated with this. And I went to university, okay? I studied sports psychology and coaching science at uni. I did my dissertation in exercise physiology. Specifically, I looked at post-activation potentiation as a method to improve warm-up protocols for max effort competitive powerlifting and the deadlift specifically. So I really specialised. I went in quite niche into strength conditioning. I worked under some great coaches, one in particular, Paul Rees, Bournemouth Barbell, very, very internationally known powerlifting club. I was very lucky. And all my friends around me were training well. I learned so much. I worked with some great PTs and other strength coaches at university. I was surrounded in a room by record holders. I became a record holder. at university myself in the WDFPF, the World Drug Free Powerlifting Federation, and set some British records as well in the GBPF, which is the affiliation of the IPF. And I loved it, and I was surrounded by all this knowledge and expertise, and it really, really paid off. So what I decided to do was learn from the people around me, okay, see what they were doing. I would test out different methods with training, with nutrition. I competed in a few different weight classes. I competed in under 105s and under 93s, under 90s, and I tried to figure out what would work well for my body, both in terms of my training styles and my nutrition and my supplementation, okay. And I was determined to figure out how to build the body that I wanted. That was my mission. I was sick and tired of this frustration, this bloody frustration of getting fatter whenever I bulked and just ending up skinny whenever I did a cut. So I decided to really take it upon myself to work with the right coaches, to work with the right PTs, to live among the guys who were doing it well, to watch how they trained, to watch how they ate. And I really decided to get it all on board, to figure it out and to learn, because I was just so hacked off, completely hacked off of having this horrible feeling when I looked in the mirror, not liking how I looked, hating the body that I had. It didn't look strong. It didn't look fit. I wasn't confident in my skin. You know, I knew that I could be something more. I knew that I could be a lot more and have much more confidence. And I knew that my physique was getting in the way of that. And so this is why I went through so much, you know, I didn't see it as trouble. I was just passionate. This is why I went through so much passion and trouble to figure out the system. And so what I want to get across to you guys, if you're watching this, maybe you are someone like me, okay? Someone who trains really hard, puts in all the work, you know, you're disciplined, you're dedicated to the process, but you're just not building the physique of the guys that you see around you and the guys that you want to see around you. And you've tried this and you've tried that and you just can't figure it out. Okay, now partly this is down to perhaps misinterpretation of knowledge or conflicting knowledge and trying to figure out what's right and just not getting to the bottom of it. Or another thing is just a challenge in assessing your own progress and making good objective calls. Despite having the information, despite having the theory, it's quite challenging to make objective calls on your own physique, your own programming for training, nutrition, supplementation, when you're taking a view of yourself. Okay, that's always going to be challenging. Even for top coaches, that's a very difficult thing to do. But whatever it is, what you're doing now ain't working. Okay, if you're in that position where you just can't get it right, you just get fatter on bulks, get skinny when you do cuts, you're not looking as good as the guys that you want to look like that are around you, then something's got to change. Okay, that's the long and short of it. Nothing will change unless you change something. And this is the point where you really need to be looking around and realizing and taking ownership of the fact that that guy there, he looks quality. Him over there, he looks great. That guy looks fantastic. These guys are all doing three things, okay? They're training more optimally than you are. They're supplementing more optimally than you are. And number three, they are eating more optimally than you are. They're also recovering more optimally than you are. And they're also living their lives in a more balanced way, more optimally than you are. Especially if these are the guys that you're thinking, hang on, I saw him down the pub. Or I saw him playing footy at the weekend. Or I saw him out with his family at the zoo. This guy does it all, but he still looks sick, okay? These guys are more optimal in their approach to training, nutrition, and supplementation. Their effort may not be as much as yours, but effort alone ain't going to do the job to get you from where you are to where you want to be. It has to be the right direction of effort, and that's absolutely crucial. The analogy that I like to use is driving. Okay, it doesn't matter how hard your foot is down on the gas. If your foot's on the brake pedal, if you're putting pressure down on that brake pedal, you're not going anywhere. And it's the same thing in fitness. It's about understanding what the right method for you is and putting your energy into those things that matter. Energy displaced in other areas which don't yield a return, you're just spinning your wheels. And nothing will change until you take ownership of the fact that, hang on, there may be a better way. And something needs to change. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you guys, all right? There really can only be two things, okay? And they are mutually exclusive. Results are excuses. You know, you can have one or the other. It's that simple. Either you can get results, you can relinquish this idea that you know it all and you understand it all and accept, hang on, I need some guidance, I need to figure this out. Or you can carry on your current method, baffled, frustrated, angry, looking around thinking, how come he can have sit gains and I can't? You know, find someone who understands the process, get them to teach it to you. And that's ultimately what I do as a coach. I teach people, I provide them with the guidance first and foremost so they can make progress from day one. But I also teach these people, I teach all of my clients the method. I don't hold back any information from what I've learned over the years of all this frustration. So I set up my guys with a process, a system for their training, a system for their nutrition, a system for their supplementation, okay? And then I teach them what they're doing and how they're doing it so they understand why they're doing it. And when you understand why you're doing something, whilst doing it, actually learning the process, that's a valuable thing to have in your toolbox. That will serve you for the rest of your life, okay? So listen, I just wanted to come on here and share with you guys my frustration when I was going through this. I've been in this game for 17 years. Okay, I started training when I was 15. I'm 32 now. I look 42, but that's neither here nor there. I've been working in this field as a coach since I was 19. Since university days is when I really began my coaching other athletes, okay, at university, students. So there you have it, guys. All right, listen. So if you feel me, if you understand where I'm coming from, if you're feeling these same frustrations, you know, always feel free to ping me a message as a DM. If you want to talk about it, I'll give you some advices, understand what you're struggling with more accurately, or maybe you could even talk more about my coaching services. Okay. Anyway, have a lovely rest of your weekend, and we will catch up soon. Cheers, guys.